Hi, everyone. Today we have Ryan Chernick from the University of Toledo joining us, and I'm really excited that Ryan is here because he's a repeat visitor to visit Estrela. We've visited together in the past a couple of times, and now we've moved to our remote visit. So thank you for doing this for us, Ryan. I know this is crazy times, but I'm happy that we can at least share some good information about the University of Toledo today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be back. I think this is my third time that we've met
I
together. I
think
think
so.
it's,
Yep.
yep, this will be the third fall. So I'm happy for the three-peat, very excited for it, obviously. First virtual one, too, which is great as well. But I appreciate the time. And hopefully today, over the course of the next 20 minutes or so, we can explore a lot about the University of Toledo. Obviously, we'll kind of stay on the surface level. So if any of your families or students out there watching want more information, please always feel free to reach out, give us an email, give us a call. But with that being said, we'll just go ahead and get started. So University of Toledo, up in Toledo, Ohio, Northwest Ohio. We are one of the public universities here in the state. We've got about 16,000 undergraduate students, about 4,000 more in their master's, doctorate, professional programs. So very much in that mid-major field, right? Not quite as big as in Ohio State, but 20,000 students, not small by any means. Even with that number of people, though, we've always tried to maintain really strong, intimate class sizes. So the average class size at U Toledo hovers just around 25, 30 people. The student-professor ratio is 20-1. So coming in as a first-time freshman, about 80% of your classes will be taught by those full-time faculty, those full-time staff. So you're building those relationships really early, which is great because your faculty and staff are the people who are eventually going to sign off, on your independent studies, ask you to join their research teams, give you that first letter recommendation. So building those relationships early is super important. Even though we are here in Northwest Ohio, we draw students internationally, right? Across the globe, we have people coming to study, do their research, get their degrees here at the University of Toledo, which is really exciting because I grew up in Zanesville, Ohio, which is down near Columbus, and I was not aware of Toledo as a city until I became a teenager. So it's amazing people all the way around the globe learn about Toledo, sometimes before I did, which is amazing, and hopefully we can get the word out there a little bit more about our city and what we have to offer. One other really neat thing, and one of the things I love most about the University of Toledo as far as these numbers go, is 31% of our students each year are first generation college students or first in the family. I love that we are such an access heavy university. People out there who want to get an education, who want to go on and do more, have those opportunities here at the University of Toledo. And it's important when you do have such a high population of first generation students that you also have a lot of great support services so that people not only can enroll in the university, but they make it to graduation day. They can be successful because the services are there for them. When you get here to U Toledo, you'll have a lot of options, over 120 different majors and programs to choose from, everything from the STEM sciences to the humanities. There is a great chance whatever you're looking to study, we have it here at the University of Toledo. It's also nice having that many programs because if you come in with one major in mind and you get here and you try it out and it's not quite the right fit, you have all these different paths that you can go down. So it's not like you're choosing the school for its one major program that it's known for. We are pretty nationally recognized for engineering, but our College of Business is also ranked top 100 in the US. So it's, no matter what direction you go, a great option for you. And if you decide to come to University of Toledo undeclared, that's also fine. We've got a great university college to help you find the right major or program and end up where you need to be to get that impactful career for yourself. Another big part of being a University of Toledo student is the experiential learning. I know that this is very in vogue right now to talk about the experiential learning, but we've been doing this for 100 years. I don't want to say we're the first to do it because obviously there's older schools, but I think that we do it very well. We're very true to that mission. It's built out of all of our programs and majors. So whatever you're looking to do, we try and connect you with the experiential side of it, right? Taking the theoretical and turning it into the practical. If you decide to go into undergraduate research, we had about $50 million granted to the university 2 years ago to carry out over 400 different research endeavors, which is really exciting. We partner with different companies all over Northwest Ohio, Southern Michigan, nationally. If you do want to travel while you're an undergraduate student, there's a great study abroad program as well. So there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of directions you can go, and there are services built in to make sure that you can access all of that. So it's not just get here to Toledo and then figure it out on your own. We do have a lot of offices on campus to help you out. So Rocket Connect can connect you with alumni from across the United States, across Northwest Ohio and the Midwest and everything to act as mentors and to help you find those internships and co-ops. Handshake, also a great career tool for our students on campus. There is an office for students to go to in the lower level of the student union right near the Starbucks. That's right, we have a Starbucks Starbucks, where students can get some of that career advice. It's a big board that has all the internships and co-ops. For some programs, it is required. So for our engineering students, it's a 3 co-op requirement. Before they can graduate, they have to do 3 full semesters of co-op work, which prepares them very well for their field. But again, no matter the program or major, it is highly encouraged. We want to see you being active in your career. I said this earlier, but U Toledo certainly does a great job of supporting its students and creating new ways to support its students. Universities cannot stay the same. They have to change. They have to adapt to the needs of their current students and the current student population. So here at the University of Toledo, we have academic advisors, just like most colleges and universities, but we also have success coaches. And success coaches are there to help you with everything outside the classroom. So when you come to the University of Toledo, if you need help changing your schedule, you can always go to your academic advisor. But let's say you want to change residence halls. Maybe you made a friend, you want to move in with them, and you don't know who to ask. You can always go to your success coach. They can help answer questions about how to get around campus through the public transit. They can answer questions about dining services, about campus safety, just about any other concern. They're your advocate from day one. So you always have someone to lean on, which is definitely nice. The Learning Enhancement Center, that's the tutoring center at the University of Toledo. Free tutoring access for all of our students, free writing support as well. So if you're working on that paper, that essay, whatever it might be, you can get some help. And you can see there the list goes on. Whatever you're coming to the University to do, we want to support you wholly in that goal. So however you need that assistance, we want to deliver it. And I know for a lot of students, the exciting part about college is the autonomy, right? It's going out, it's being on your own, but you have to understand when you go to school that you're going to need help sometimes. And that's totally fine. No one expects you to do college all by yourself. I have dyslexia, and I've had it since I was, I guess, born, but I found out about it in 3rd grade. And I didn't think I would be able to go to college. I didn't think I would be successful. When I went, I was lucky to have such supportive faculty and staff around me to push me to take advantage of the support services. So to all the students out there, whether or not you have a learning disability like myself, when you go to school, take advantage of that stuff and make the most of your time there. Make the most of your academic experience. I talked about being adaptive and being able to change with your students' population. Something brand new to the University of Toledo is the pre-professional advising program. So we've seen, a huge increase in students who want to go to the University of Toledo for pre-med, pre-PT, pre-OT, as that's been expanding across the whole US. And so to react to that, we've created a whole new advising office for those students to prepare them for the applications they'll do into medical school or PT school or OT school, pharmacy school. So you have someone outside, even still your academic advisor and success coach, people in that advising office. And again, this is a great office, but it really shows how we are changing with the needs of the students. So when you come here, you have people who are listening to what you're trying to do. I focused a lot on the academic side of things because it's very important to choose a school academically. But of course, it's also the community. I said it earlier, 16,000 undergraduate students. Right now, a lot of them are on campus. We have, up to this point, successfully reintegrated students, and that's been in no small part to the great teamwork of the entire campus, the faculty, the students, the staff. In a normal year, this is when you would see a lot of those student organizations out and promoting their groups and recruiting. So over 400 different student organizations at the University of Toledo. It's one of the great parts about going to these mid-major schools is you still have those pretty intimate class sizes, but there's all these different ways to get involved and be active on campus. And whatever you like to do, I'm sure there's a group there at the University of Toledo for you, whether it's student government, it's a religious organization, fraternities, sororities, athletics, they're all there. And that's not even including just the community, the city of Toledo. There's a lot of great ways to be involved. I live in downtown Toledo, right between the baseball stadium and the ice arena, which in a normal year is awesome because I go to baseball games and hockey games. And this is a city that's full of a lot of pride. So it's great to have that kind of energy, not just on campus, but also in the communities around you as well. We are a residential campus. So for any student who lives outside 25 miles of the University of Toledo, you'll be required to live there for the first 2 years. And in the latter 2 years, you can choose on campus or off campus. It's totally up to you. 9 different residence halls to choose from. None of them are gated from first year students. So you can live in any building you like, the building that best fits, your needs or whatever kind of amenities you're looking for. There is one building that's exclusively first-year students, and that's Parks Tower. So that is a newly renovated building kind of right in the middle of campus. But that's where you'll see a lot of the first-year students living. But again, they can choose to live wherever they'd like that is, convenient for them. let's talk a little bit about the admissions process at the University of Toledo. I usually do this in like 40 minutes, so shortening it is like so hard for my brain because it's so used to like jumping to the next thing. But the admissions process, very important. We have made some changes this year, not just related to the pandemic. A lot of these were actually coming anyway for us, again, trying to stay true to being an access-heavy school. And the big one is we are now a test-optional university. So students can actually apply to the University of Toledo either with or without their test scores. And I'll talk about that more in just a second. But first, before you even do that, you have to choose the right application. You can either do the Common App or you can do the Discover application, which is just like the U Toledo application. And there is no preference in our office on which one you'd like to fill out. So if you want to do the Common App, great. It's an awesome application. It's a little bit longer, but it works for hundreds of schools across the US. So if you're doing a bunch of applications, it'll save you time in the long run. But let's say you're just going to apply to 2 or 3 schools. Our Discover application, really only takes maybe 15 minutes. It's very quick. It's very succinct. So it's just whichever is best for you and your situation. And if you want advice, if you want to ask, again, feel free to reach out. We are happy to answer those questions. But like I said, we're now a test optional university. So then you will decide if you want to also submit a test score, ACT or SAT, no preference there. It will have an impact on your scholarship, your merit scholarship. So that's worth looking into, whether or not you want to supply a test score or have it just based on your GPA. But all the academic programs at the University of Toledo, all the majors can be test optional, including things like direct entry to nursing can be test optional. The Honors College can be test optional. There are a few specialty programs like the Back to MD that are not test optional yet. And there's a couple of scholarships like the President's Scholarship, which is the full ride at the University of Toledo. That's not test optional yet. But again, before you do any applications, if you have questions about the best path for you, call your admissions counselor at the university, and we're more than happy to kind of walk you through that process. It can be a little confusing with so many options, but we're going to find the one that's the best fit for you. So however that works out, we will get there and we'll get your application submitted. We are a rolling admission university, which means that you can apply from right now until August of next year. I would not recommend waiting until August of next year. If you do, I'll still help you out, I promise. But if you want a personal deadline, I would say try and submit your application to the University of Toledo sometime between right now and the middle of November, because the first big financial aid deadline is coming up on December 1st. So let's just get admitted before them, avoid any of the stress. But if your plans change and you decide to apply in the spring, of course we'll help you and we'll work through the admissions process, financial aid, housing, whenever you decide to apply. But U Toledo has always been a really adaptive school when it comes to financing your education as well. So we have an office, Rocket Solutions Central. You'll see all their contact information there on the screen. Feel free to pause and write it down or give them a call. But they are pretty much the one-stop shop for financial questions. So whether it's scholarships, if it's the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, if it's about your bill at the University of Toledo, if it's about going through verification, they can answer all of your questions. And us in admissions, we'll defer to them a lot in financial aid because they are really knowledgeable, really helpful. But at U Toledo, again, there is something called the Merit Scholarship, which is pretty common at a lot of schools. You get this on admission, so it's based on your GPA and your ACT or SAT score, or if you apply test optionally, just your GPA. So again, feel free to give us a call so we can figure out which one's going to be the best fit for you. But it really is meant to reward the work you've already done in high school. Then you'll also have the scholarships you can apply for. So the President's Scholarship, like I said, that's the full ride at the University of Toledo. Levis Leadership is a great leadership program. There is a scholarship tied to it, but really it's more about getting leadership experience, doing some cool stuff while you're in school. The Student Financial Aid General Scholarship is one application for a ton of awards at the University of Toledo, so that's a great one to apply for. As long as you have kind of the middle range GPA, ACT score, you'll be a great candidate for it. Go ahead, submit that application, also pretty quick. And then college and program specific. There are different scholarships for different majors. So if you go into nursing, there are different scholarships than the College of Education or the College of Arts and Letters. So it's going to be different depending on how you append, different depending on how you apply, but know that every year you can be applying for these kinds of awards because sometimes they're just for first-time freshmen, but sometimes they're for sophomores and juniors and seniors. And while the University of Toledo has a tuition guarantee, which means that we lock in your tuition for all 4 years, you can always be earning more in aid. So hopefully we can see the cost going down as you go through your time at the University of Toledo. You'll also see down there at the bottom of the screen a scholarship search, which means you can look through the whole website pretty quickly and find the awards that are the best fit for you. Here are a couple of the deadlines. This is by no means all of them, but just some that are kind of general for a lot of students. Priority deadline for the application you'll see there is December 1st. That is, again, what I recommend. That's why I recommend applying by middle of November, so that way we're already admitted by December 1st. No need to worry about the exact deadline. Then you have the financial aid general scholarship. Enrollment priority deadlines don't really roll around until May, but if you decide you're going to attend U Toledo next week, hey, welcome to the Rockets. Excited to have you here. We will walk you through that stuff even earlier. But May is when we start to look at non-refundable deposits to attend the University of Toledo. With that being said, that's all I have today for the presentation. Again, my name is Ryan Chernick. I am just one of the admissions counselors. We are all very nice, very friendly. Hope you're getting that vibe off of me right now. And we are here to answer your questions. If you have any, give our office a call, come visit us. We are doing little visits right now. So if you can schedule one out, if you'd like to see us, or a virtual visit, which as you can see right now is also very fun. And so whatever is best for you, we'd love to see you. Have a safe rest of your day, everybody, and go Rockets.
Yay. Can I ask a few questions, Ryan?
Of course, yeah.
And it's up to you. If you want to keep the screen share, you can, or you can just have our faces. It's up to you.
Sure. Yeah, I'll leave up this slide because I think this is the one I want people to go to the most with financial questions.
Cool. And also for those watching, a very fun fact is that Ryan is a stand-up comic as his side gig. I do love that fun fact about you, Ryan, and you do such a good job. And I have to say, you were like the most succinct and rapid fire presenter I think we've had so far. But it was awesome. Thank you for all that great information.
Thank you so much.
All the great visuals about Toledo. So just a couple of questions. One is, when you think about the academic programs at Toledo, are there any that you feel like are either don't get enough accolades but really should, or people should really know about this cool program that you have? That's my first question. Why don't you start there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, like I said earlier, kind of what we're really known for are things in the research sciences, the medical sciences, engineering. You can go all day long about how great they are and the work that they do and their job placement. Same for the things in like the pre-med field or the medical field in general, nursing. But I think the other programs that are a little bit smaller on campus still do outstanding work. So the College of Education, I mean, those folks really do a great job of preparing young educators. They're really true to that experiential learning. They're not just student teaching their senior year. They're in the classroom a lot through all 4 years of college, which is really cool. The College of Arts and Letters definitely leans more on the liberal arts education, which is getting students a lot of, a whole world experience, not one specific skill. It's all the soft skills that go into making someone employable and a good global citizen as well. But I think sometimes the arts do get overshadowed a little bit by some of the sciences, because the sciences are great, but really fun fact, if you want to study the arts, if you want to go into something design based, a lot of our creative spaces are actually at the museum here in the city of Toledo, the Toledo Museum of Art. That's where they have a lot of the design spaces. So you're working around other nationally touring and housed pieces of art. So I think that's really exciting. You're not somewhere in the back of campus. You're on a really beautiful museum floor and you're working and creating, your own pieces alongside them. So there's all that little stuff. And I've worked at U Toledo for about 2 years now, and I'm always learning things about the school because there are so many programs. But I would say if we carry it, that's because we believe in it. We want to have students come here and grow it and make it better.
That was like a fact, like a quotable statement that you just made there. They should put that on a brochure. If we have it, we believe in it. It's because we believe in it. And I could tell with your gusto that you do. I love that about the arts piece of it, Ryan, because I think you're right. When I think of Toledo, I often do automatically go to more of the STEM-based programs and healthcare and that kind of stuff, and not really to the arts. So thank you for that. And I remembered that now about the museum piece. I know we've talked about that before. So that is awesome that students have that opportunity to do that. One question I know that our team has is what, in terms of the merit scholarship piece, going test optional, how are there other metrics that you're using to determine those scholarship, how a student would be awarded those scholarships in lieu of test scores? What are you doing for that?
This is a good question. So I know, and you've seen this before, in the past, our merit scholarship was on kind of a grid. So it
Yeah.
was, ACT one side and SAT and then GPA along the other. And that way, if one was a little bit higher than the other, it might balance each other out. So if your ACT wasn't quite as good, but you had a really good GPA, there you kind of saw it square out. With the GPA application, it's really just based on GPA. So instead of being a grid, it's more of a line. And if you fall in these different brackets, you can see different awards. And it still ranges from about $1,000 to about $5,000. And we can give students estimates based on their GPA even before they apply. So I encourage students, if you want to know, that is a big piece for it, because if your GPA and ACT score will get you admitted into your major, and also your GPA alone will get you into your major, well, then let's take a look and see which one's going to be better for you financially. So that's the kind of stuff we're wanting, students to call in. But it is just based on GPA when you apply test optionally to university. And a really important thing I want to throw out there also, I might have forgotten to mention it. It is locked in when you apply as either test optional or traditionally. So you can't go back and retroactively change it, which is going to be challenging because students have signed up for the ACT a couple of times and it's been canceled every time. They don't know if they're really ever going to get to take it. So that does present a challenge. And that's why it's nice the deadline isn't until later on in the fall, around November. So hopefully you can either take it and use that score, or you can kind of settle into just using your GPA.
So along those lines, if someone's scheduled to take a test in like November or October or November, you would recommend they hold off, see how they do, or if their test even goes off, if they're able to sit, and just have everything else ready to submit. And then if they get a higher score and they feel like it would be a score that they'd want to submit, then they go ahead and submit by December 1st.
Absolutely. And I have students calling in, right now who are saying, hey, here's my GPA. Here's the SAT I got when I took it at the beginning of my junior year. I want to take it again later in the fall, but I'm trying to apply for this competitive program. What should I do? And that's where it's good to have a conversation, because you can't really extrapolate everything from just like, here are the requirements and the dates, because what if you apply and you take the test and it doesn't really go any better and you thought it would, and you've already submitted to use your test scores? That's why it's good to get that stuff out early. And it's one of the challenges of going test optional now is you have all these different paths. But I think overall the good that's done by it is substantial, because it is going to give students so many more options to come here and be successful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your transparency on that. That was really helpful. So looking ahead to the class of 2021 and possibly 2022, in terms of opportunities for them to engage with campus now, because things are obviously not totally normal, what are you recommending students to do in terms of, getting to know the campus? And are you doing virtual visits, open houses? What's happening at Toledo?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll throw this caveat out there at the very beginning. It seems like I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone.
Same.
Yeah, right. I think things are going to happen.
What time is it? What's happening?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll plan out going to the grocery store like a week in advance, and that day will come, and I'll be like, I can't go today. What am I talking about? So right now, I'll let everyone know what we're doing. But if you watch this video and it's the future and it's different, I'm really sorry. So right now at U Toledo, we are doing small group on-campus visits. So if people want to come see us in person, they can do that. We're scheduling them about 3 weeks out. That way, it's not a month and a half in the future. People from far away make plans to visit, and then it falls through. So they fill up pretty quick, but check in on the website, give us a call. We can try and work things out to get you to visit if there's a really specific time that you want to come. We also do have a great virtual tour on our website, so you can go through. A lot of universities are picking up these virtual tours, which I think is awesome. So if you're from further away than Northwest Ohio, than like a couple hours, you can at least see the visuals and learn a lot about the campus before you come. There are also virtual presentations. So like what we did here, except the admissions counselor is still there to answer questions interactively. So you can find those on the website. If you just go to utoledo.edu, the visit button's right there at the top, and they can see some of the options. Also, as of right now, we do have some preview days coming up. So in October and November, we're going to have some preview events where students can come to campus and also meet with people from their academic colleges. So the College of Nursing, Education, Business, Engineering, Arts and Letters, all those colleges will be there to help students kind of explore the university, and the University College. So if you're undecided, like I talked about earlier, they'll be there as well to talk about their programs. So that's a great option as well. But really the virtual stuff is nice because you can do that first, today even, and then schedule your visits as you see fit. There's also a neat thing, I forgot about this because it's brand new. There is a self-guided tour now. So in front of the buildings, you'll find these big QR codes. And Colin, Colin Palmer, who's the director of admission, he was talking about this recently, and I love the idea because now people can come to campus on the weekend even, and they can just go around, take pictures of the stuff, or take pictures of the QR codes, get the information, walk through at their own speed, and write down their questions, and then come back to us with what they want to know additionally about the university, which is cool.
When they do that, is there anything that alerts you that they've been on campus? So
I'm not sure if it captures their information. I want to say it does because we do want to stay in touch. If you're taking the QR codes, we do want to stay in touch. But also, I imagine, just out of curiosity, students are going to do it, and they already attend Toledo, so they probably don't need to enroll also. But I do wonder if it does have a capture component to it as well.
Interesting. Well, good. Well, I always enjoy chatting with you, and when things get back to normal, we will get back in person. But in the meantime, I am so appreciative that you took the time. I know this is a very crazy time in recruitment world and college admission in general. But I appreciate you giving us the updates. And like you said, if things change, anyone watching any of this, things always change. Ryan gave us some really good information, which I think will the quality of the programs, the offerings, all that kind of stuff remains a constant. And I would say, Toledo is a school, and I've said this actually for several years now, that Toledo is a school that I really think families should pay attention to because there's so much happening there. And it's really is a beautiful campus. You have the urban environment there, but you also have the green space, which I think, is a nice it's nice for students to be able to know they can go onto a campus and be close to the city or in the city, but have access to be able to throw the Frisbee, right? And so,
yeah.
yeah. So anyway, well, I appreciate you being here today, Ryan. I hope that everything goes well with the fall semester, and we will be in touch soon.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me. As always, very appreciated. And hopefully, again, we will see each other in person eventually.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye.
You too.